I'm trying to get Carl Eisler's supervisor.
Hi, Rachel Orath in the Office of Compliance Enforcement at the Legal Services Corporation. I am currently on the other line or away from my desk. You can leave me a message at the sound of the beep. I'll return your call as soon as I can. If you need immediate assistance, please dial the LSE main receptionist at 202-295-1500, and she can direct you to the appropriate member of the legal services staff. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Hello, I am calling you because I've been directed to you because I need to speak to Carl Eisler's supervisor. Carl Eisler tells me that you don't care what kind of ethics lawyers in state offices use to deny their clients entitlements, to help the federal government and to deny their clients entitlements. But my situation is that Janelle Swanberg communicated with an area hospital after she knew that were the reason why I was going there, at the hospital's invitation, to collect a referral to nuclear medicine outside of Scott County. Because in Scott County, I don't get medicine. Really. I've been involved in a few months of conversations with Medicare. Because of Janelle Swanberg's most recent communication with Genesis West Hospitals, contrary to what she knew was supposed to happen, she told the hospital I was going in for a mental evaluation. When I told the hospital that was not my purpose for coming there, and the hospital administration knew that, I was beaten by a security guard who just so happens to be a Davenport police officer. The Davenport police are featured on my website because they help scumbags sell interstate dope, and I got video and pictures online to prove it. Now, what I need to do to file this complaint, I have to file it directly with you. The legal aid will no longer pick up my calls. Yesterday, I rang their phone.
Link recorded. To re-record, press 1. To delete, press star D. Is finished, press pound.
Hello. I'm calling you because I need to see my legal aid file. The local legal aid offices will not take my complaint from me, and I'm going to have to do it through your offices. And to make that complaint, I'm going to need to see my entire file, which goes back to 1983, when your offices, against my wishes, but on the prompting,
Press pound. To add in. To play back, press 2-3. To approve,
what?
add in.
I'm not done.
Press
I wasn't done.
add in. To play back, press 2-3. To approve, press pound. Invalid entry. For help, press star H. You are recording a message. To record, press 1. After recording, press 1 again. To replay the last...
This is Jeff Sobroff. I need to have a return call from you because apparently your answering machine will not take a message for any longer than 15 seconds. My telephone number is 563. Your local offices refuses to allow me to make a complaint to their office. I'm going to have to make one to yours. I see that this message is going on longer. I'm told by Carl Eisler that you, who are supposed to be supervising local offices, don't care, have no care about the ethics your attorneys practice. The attorneys in the Davenport office are unethical. and I can prove that with documentation that I have. Now, on top of that, I am going to have to see my entire file, which I understand is lodged in the Davenport office. Please return my call. Because so far, I haven't told anybody what a bunch of crap I'm beginning to think your offices are. I've just concentrated on the Davenport Legal Aid Office. And what I want to know is, do you guys operate the same way? Are you an office of lawyers who likes to evade their ethical responsibilities to their clients? I need to have an answer about that. I have a valid complaint, and I should be allowed to make it somewhere. I would appreciate a return call before the end of your business day. Actually, since it's 9:15, I think I'd want a phone call before noon.
Maximum length recorded. To re-record, press 1. To delete, press star D. If finished, press pound.
I'm not finished.
Legal Services Corporation, how may I help you?
You know, I wish that the message machine went long enough so that I could even leave my phone number. Look, isn't there anybody there who I can talk to? Because I get this same response from the local legal aid offices, who, by the way, will have receptionists impersonate lawyers. Now, I know they can't do that. Now, I really would, look, this has been going on for months. And the issue that legal aid, there are several. Janelle Swanberg took measures to ensure that I was beaten in an area hospital. That, by the way, is on YouTube. My beating when I went into the hospital from the very beginning. This was totally contrived by Janelle Swanberg to put me in my place. In 1983, when the county wanted me to go on Social Security so they could claim that I have been disabled in such a way so that all my life, which would possibly defuse a lawsuit, which I eventually won, because 2 policemen beat me with nightsticks for no reason. And I told the legal aid office in Davenport and Bob Heimer, who was assigned the case, I do not want Social Security, and I do not want to proceed with any kind of an appeal. They turned me down, and that's fine with me. Instead, against my wishes, and against available medical evidence, they had me declared disabled for an invalid reason. And it was only years later that I was able to prove that that reason was invalid in a court of law. But because of that initial determination, I have been denied all of my civil rights. Now, when am I going to be able to see my complete legal aid file?
Well, I think you need to talk to Carl Eisler.
Well, Carl Eisler told me that as far as that lawyers don't have to practice ethically if they're under your supervision, or his.
Well, sir, I've transferred you to Carl many times, and I'll also transfer you to...
That's right. And you know, every time you transfer me to Carl, I have made a recording of me with my speakerphone and my picture on the video, talking to a guy who's yelling at me and telling me that ethics aren't really a consideration here. That's why I keep asking to speak to a supervisor. Now, what I need to know is, do you guys have an office that supervises you? Who do I talk to when I find out that the guy at LLC who is supposed to treat me, I mean, like, you hear this little spiel which I played for the world about how legal aid gives dignity and hope to the low income. People have been watching my videos on YouTube and on Facebook. They don't think I'm getting any dignity.
Alright, sir, can I put you on hold 1 moment and try to figure out the best person?
The best person would be the guy at the top of the triangle. The guy who is the ultimate boss. Do you have an office somewhere in the federal government, I'm going to assume, that supervises what you do? Because so far, what I've been able to acquire, the information I've been able to acquire, that your offices are allowing the local lead offices to help the federal government deny minority people of their entitlements, and that would include the disabled.
Alright, 1 moment, let me put you on hold.
These people are what you call flack catchers. Read a book by Tom Wolfe called Mau Mauing the Flack Catchers. No, wait a minute, I think that was a chapter. Read Tom Wolfe. He knows all about this. In the 60s, we used to go to people's offices, protesting the war, protesting this, and they have a person in their office who's the flag catcher. Those people have a back door. We show up at the front door, they exit through the back. Well, this is going to take a while. I'll pause the video. I just explained to the receptionist that I know there's somebody higher in the food chain who's in another office who's supposed to see that these people behave ethically. I'm talking to somebody who's allegedly worked there for only 3 weeks. I don't believe receptionists anymore that are associated with legal aid because I had a receptionist lie to me for 4 months, a woman named Pat, who told me that she was the legal aid director's secretary, and she was in Des Moines. She was not anybody's secretary. She was a receptionist in another office. Lied to me for 4 months at the direction of her boss. People don't do that shit on their own hook. When you work in a lawyer's office, you assume that kind of ethical responsibility. You don't lie to people. You don't lie to clients. You're not supposed to. It's against the rules. Carl Eisler, he doesn't care about the rules.
Legal Services Corporation, Carl Eisler speaking.
Hello, Carl. I need to see my entire legal aid file to make a valid complaint. And I have been calling the regional office number, and they've just instructed not to pick up. I just finished ringing them for an hour. They don't want to let me make a complaint, which is like how it works. I'm supposed to make a complaint at the local office. Now the
What is so you want to make a complaint with the local office?
well, that's how it's supposed to start, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so anyway, what I need to do, look, I already have proof that Janelle Swanberg called an area hospital.
Oh, okay, but Mr. Silverrock, what you need to do is put that complaint in writing and just send it to them. I don't think you'll be able to get
I need to see my file.
Well, I don't think you'll be able to see your file.
Oh, why not?
In order to file
Why not? Why not? Look, look, because you're not sure? Look, well, I've got 4 videos that I'm all ready to publish. And you're telling me that you're not directly concerned with the ethics that the people in your offices practice.
I didn't say that. What I said was
That's what it sounds like.
you have access to your file.
No, we're not talking about that now. We're talking about a statement you previously made where you said that the ethics that a lawyer that works in a legal aid office in Iowa aren't your concern.
I said that you need to refer ethical concerns to the Iowa State Attorney Disciplinary Board. I said we are concerned with compliance regulations that Iowa Legal Aid has to comply with in order to receive the funds that we provide to them.
Well, one of those compliances can't possibly be to arrange to have me beaten in a hospital, can it?
The compliance deals with primarily.
You know what I had to do to find that out? Do you know what I had to do to find that? After the hospital invited me there. After the hospital...
I understand. You've told me this a few times, and unfortunately, I have another meeting I have to go to.
Yeah, well, I'm going to need to see my goddamn file. Do I have to subpoena it?
I don't think there's no case to subpoena from right now.
Since when? Since when?
I'm sorry.
This is a case. Look, do I have to sue Janelle Swanberg for having me physically assaulted?
I think you first need to file your complaint, and you just need to file your complaint based upon the information that you
Well,
have.
if they put my complaint... Hey, you know what? I filed a complaint with them. I wrote them a little letter. I wrote it to them a month ago.
Have you heard back from them?
That letter is in the round file, sir.
When did you file that complaint?
Last month.
And have you heard back?
No. And today when the phone rings for an hour this morning. I'm on the phone and I'm listening to it ring for an hour.
I'm sorry, Mr. Silverrock, but
So not only are they not going to answer that complaint, they're not even going to answer their phone.
I have to get off the phone right now.
Who's your I need to talk to your supervisor. You obviously have never had time for this case. You don't have time.
She's not in the office right now, so I will give you a call back after.
Have your supervisor call me back.
I will see if she's
Your supervisor at one time told me, of course you're concerned with an attorney's ethics. You're concerned with an office. You should be concerned with an office that tells a receptionist to impersonate an attorney.
I will give you a call back later. Thank you.
I think we can see how cooperative this entire thing is going to be. These people are the federal government. The people I just talked to are the feds. They are not a private attorney's office. They are federal attorneys. And they only have their position because they really don't care about the ethics that lawyers use to deny people their rightful entitlements. This is Dmitry Ivanovich, and that was Carl Eisler. Argumentative son of a bitch, isn't he? But lawyers Lawyers are argumentative. You got to be litigious to be a lawyer. They do arguments. This is Dmitry Ivanovich and Carl Eisler with the naked truth.